Bangladesh is going to polls in a few hours from now. However, all eyes are on another interesting aspect of this. 127 million people are set to vote in a referendum through which Chief Advisor Muhammad Yunus is reportedly seeking to continue in power. The referendum involves 84 complex questions, at least 47 of which amount to explicit constitutional amendments. While the country's election commission has barred the state machinery from influencing voter choices, Muhammad Yunus and his advisors have openly urged citizens to vote for a yes. In a nationwide address after the end of campaigning for the parliamentary elections, Yunus dubbed the referendum as a new milestone in the country's history.
লক্ষ্যেই আমরা গণভোটের আয়োজন করেছি যাতে দেশের ভবিষ্যৎ সংস্কার দিশা নির্ধারণে জনগণ সরাসরি নিজেদের মত প্রকাশ করতে পারেন। এই গণভোট বাংলাদেশের ইতিহাসে একটি নতুন মাইলফলক হয়ে থাকবে। এখানে আপনার প্রতিটি ভোট আগামী দিনের রাষ্ট্র ব্যবস্থার ভিত্তি রচনা করবে। এর প্রভাব থাকবে বহু প্রজন্ম জুড়ে। এই ভোটের মাধ্যমেই আপনারা জানিয়ে দেবেন আপনারা জুলাই সনদের প্রস্তাবিত সংস্কার কাঠামোকে এগিয়ে নিতে চান কিনা।
The Nobel laureate also lauded the July National Charter, which proposed the list of reforms to be approved by the referendum. In a clear appeal to voters, he linked the outcome of the referendum to fulfillment of people's long-cherished aspirations. Now, if the yes vote prevails, the new parliament will be mandated to implement the Charter's provisions within 180 working days.
আলোচনায় অনেক প্রস্তাবের পক্ষে বিপক্ষে দীর্ঘ মতবিনিময় শেষে রাজনৈতিক দলগুলো এতে স্বাক্ষর করেছে। এই সনদ জাতির ভবিষ্যৎ পথ চলার এক ঐতিহাসিক দলিল, গণঅভ্যুত্থানের চেতনা, জনগণের দীর্ঘদিনের আকাঙ্ক্ষা এবং ভবিষ্যৎ রাষ্ট্র ব্যবস্থার একটি সুস্পষ্ট দিক নির্দেশনা।
While Yunus will have to transfer power to the newly elected government after polling on the 12th of February, he can still vie for the president's post. Now, this is because Bangladeshi President Mohammad Shahabuddin, an Awami League appointee, has publicly hinted at resigning after the election, citing humiliation from the interim government. Now, how does the charter benefit Yunus? Essentially, it vastly enhances the powers of the president, providing a scope for independent decision-making. For instance, the president will be elected by a secret ballot by not only the elected MPs, but also unelected representatives of the proposed upper house. Additionally, a person holding a post in any party or government will be ineligible to become the president, thereby bolstering the chances of an economist like Muhammad Yunus. As per the charter, the president can make key appointments without the prime minister's consent. Now, this includes the chairperson of the National Human Rights Commission, the Law Commission, and the governor of the Bangladesh Bank. On the other hand, the referendum seeks to curb powers of the elected prime minister. It allows a person to occupy this post for a maximum of 10 years. Additionally, remember, the Prime Minister cannot simultaneously serve as the head of a party. In case of declaring an emergency, the entire cabinet's approval will be required, unlike the current system where only the Prime Minister's signature is needed. The July Charter has also reinstated the caretaker system, whereby elections will be held under the supervision of a neutral setup. While the future plan of Yunus might be revealed in the next few days, remember, it is apparent that the referendum provides him the perfect platform to play a prominent role in Bangladeshi politics. And Siddhant Sibbal, our assistant editor for Foreign Affairs, has sent us this report from Dhaka. It captures the mood from the ground ahead of the high-stakes battle. Take a look.
Well, the stage is set for the big election day on Thursday here in Bangladesh. And the key polls are Shafiqur Rahman of the Jamaat, supported by other parties, including the Students' Parties, and the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, whose leader is Tariq Rahman. Now, Awami League, of course, is not present. They have been barred from the elections, and on ground, of course, there is a feeling, a general anti-feeling towards the Awami League. But clearly, when it comes to the authorities' big focus, it is to make sure that there is no untoward incident and there is no violence as millions cast their vote here in Bangladesh on Thursday. With video journalist Neeraj Patel, Sudhansubal for WION in Dhaka, Bangladesh.
A disturbing case of long-term sexual abuse has emerged from France, where a former teacher has been charged with raping and sexually assaulting dozens of teenagers over more than 5 decades. French authorities say the crimes span multiple countries and date back to the late 1960s. The teacher's name is Jacques Levigule, and he is currently in custody in the southeastern France. Jacques Levigule is currently in custody in southeastern France, as we told you. The 79-year-old has been charged with the rape and sexual assault of at least 89 teenagers in what prosecutors are calling one of the country's largest mass abuse investigations. Investigators say the alleged crimes took place between 1967 and 2022, covering more than 50 years. The case came to light after Levigule's nephew discovered a USB drive in October of 2023. And as per prosecutors, the device contained extensive written records as well as photographs documenting what Jacques Levigule described as his sexual relations with minors aged between 13 and 17 years. The prosecutor said that the material included what he called 15 volumes of very dense content. So far, authorities have identified around 40 victims, which is less than half of the total that are mentioned in the files. In a rare move, the French prosecutors have now publicly named the suspect, urging other victims to come forward. In fact, the prosecutors said that if victims wish to come forward, now is the time. The police believe that Jacques Levigule used his work in holiday camps and informal teaching roles to gain access to young people. They say he often offered language lessons and cultural mentoring, building trust with teenagers before abusing them. According to investigators, his alleged crimes were not limited to France alone. The police say he may have carried out assaults in Germany, Switzerland, Morocco, Niger, Algeria, the Philippines, India, Colombia, and New Caledonia. Prosecutors say wherever he settled to teach or tutor, he would seek out young victims. Jacques Levigule was arrested in 2024 after returning to France from Morocco to visit his brother near the French city of Grenoble. His nephew had grown suspicious of his behavior. He examined the USB drive while Jacques Levigule was away. Several victims have since told investigators that Levigule appeared caring and intellectually supportive, helping them learn languages and explore cultures. Prosecutors described him as having a complex personality. But this is not where it ends. It gets worse after this. Jacques Levigule has also allegedly confessed to killing his own mother and aunt decades ago. He's accused of smothering his terminally ill mother in 1974 and his 92-year-old aunt in 1992. A separate judicial investigation has now been opened into these alleged killings. Under the French law, remember, sexual offences committed before 1993 are protected by a statute of limitations and cannot be prosecuted. However, authorities say documenting the full scale of this alleged abuse is important for the victims and for historical record. The new case echoes 2 other major abuse scandals in France, where perpetrators kept detailed records of their crimes. In the Pellicourt case, Dominique Pellicourt filmed men assaulting his drugged wife. In Brittany, former doctor Joël de Chorniquet had kept digital records of hundreds of abused children. Both men were later sentenced to 20 years in prison. Prosecutors say such documentations, while they are disturbing, have played a crucial role in bringing offenders to justice. Investigations continue, and investigators continue to appeal for victims around the world to contact the French authorities as the inquiry expands. The French police say investigation remains active, with more identifications expected in the coming months. Authorities are also urging anyone with information to come forward as they work to uncover the full extent of these alleged crimes. Trust a dog to be your most loyal companion. Aloka a stray dog from India who became a friend, companion, and a fellow walker to Buddhist monks on their long and arduous journey across America, is still with them as they reached Washington, D.C. After completing a 15-week trek from Texas, nearly 24 Buddhist monks arrived at the U.S. Capitol, completing what they call the Walk for Peace. They're still being accompanied by Aloka, who captured global attention by tagging along with the monks. The brown and white canine with a heart-shaped mark on his forehead has been walking with the Buddhist monks from Fort Worth in Texas.
I have watched them for the last 2 months. I think probably 2 months ago I became aware of them. And with everything going on in our nation right now, they have provided my spiritual home. They've given me hope.
The Walk for Peace is a march by Buddhist monks across 10 U.S. states to promote world peace. Organized by the Huang Dao Vipassana Bhavan Center, it spans roughly 3,700 kilometers. Remember, the march comes amid growing tensions spurred by U.S. President Donald Trump's immigration crackdown, which has led to bloodshed and confrontation. One of the spiritual leaders warned that America is facing what he called a reign of terror due to such measures, calling for conscientious compassion during tough times.
Peace always begins from within, not without, not out there. Don't expect the world to be at peace, because it will never happen. If we have 100 monks, not just about 20 monks, but if we have thousands of monks walking every day like that, the world's still not going to be at peace.